Poor single dad rents room to a strange pregnant girl. Unaware she's a runaway millionaire heiress. It started with a knock that changed everything. A soft, hesitant knock on a rainy night that would lead a poor single dad into a story he'd never forget. A story of pain, secrets, and redemption. He had no idea that behind that door stood a girl whose life was nothing like it seemed. A girl carrying a secret worth millions, and a heart heavy with more loneliness than he'd ever seen. Tom Harris was used to being tired. Life had done that to him. Ever since his wife passed away 2 years ago, it was just him and his little girl Ellie. He worked double shifts at a mechanic's shop, came home late to make her dinner, and somehow still managed to smile when she showed him her messy crayon drawings. The small, run-down house they lived in wasn't much. Cracked walls, leaky roof, but it was home. Bills piled up faster than his paychecks, and when his landlord raised the rent, Tom knew he couldn't make it alone anymore. That's when he put up a small paper sign outside his porch. There's room for rent, door $2,000 a month, no pets. Quiet preferred. He didn't expect anyone that night, especially not in the storm. But when he opened the door, he saw her. Soaked, shivering, and clutching her belly. She looked young, maybe in her early 20s, wearing an oversized red hoodie and carrying a single duffel bag. "Please," she said softly, "I saw the sign. I just need somewhere to stay." Tom hesitated. She looked fragile, too fragile, and pregnant. But something in her eyes, a mix of fear and exhaustion, made him step aside. "Come in. You can dry off first," he said. She thanked him quietly, avoiding his gaze as she entered. Her name, she said, was as Lena, no last name. The next few days were quiet. Lena kept mostly to herself. She helped wash dishes, folded laundry, and sometimes hummed lullabies to the baby she carried. Ellie, being only 6, was instantly curious. "Is your baby gonna have a daddy?" she asked innocently one afternoon. Lena froze, eyes glistening. "No, sweetheart," she whispered. "Just a mom." Tom noticed how careful Lena was, how she jumped at loud noises, how she always checked the locks before bed. He figured she had a rough past. He didn't pry. He knew what it was like to carry pain that didn't want to be shared. But one night, after Ellie went to bed, he found Lena sitting at the kitchen table, staring at an old newspaper. Her hands trembled. The front page showed a photograph. A missing person report. The girl in the photo was her. Only now, her hair was darker, her clothes simpler. But the eyes, they were unmistakable. "Lena," he said quietly, setting down the cup of tea he'd brought her. "You want to tell me what's going on?" She looked up, fear flashing across her face. "Please, don't call anyone. I'm not a criminal, I swear. I had to leave." "Leave what?" he asked. She took a shaky breath. "My father's world. The mansion, the money, the people who only saw me as a price tag. I was supposed to marry someone I didn't love. A business deal, not a marriage. When I found out I was pregnant with my driver's child, they wanted me to give the baby up, hide it. I couldn't. So I ran." Tom didn't know what to say. He looked at her. This girl who'd been born into wealth, but now sat in his kitchen, trembling, afraid of the very name she carried. "You're safe here," he finally said. "You don't owe me anything. Just take care of yourself and that baby." Something changed after that night. They began to talk more, slowly, cautiously. Lena started helping Ellie with her reading. She even cooked sometimes, and laughter returned to that little house in ways Tom hadn't felt since his wife died. But peace never lasts long when secrets are buried deep. One morning, a black car stopped outside the house. 2 men in suits stepped out, knocking firmly on the door. Tom opened it, heart pounding. "We're looking for someone," one of them said, showing a photo. It was Tom lied? "Never seen her." But from the kitchen window Lena saw them and froze. Memories flooded back. She knew those men. Her father's security. She couldn't risk them finding her. That night, when Tom came home from work, Lena was gone. Her room empty. Her bag missing. Only a note left on the kitchen table. "Thank you for showing me what kindness feels like. Please tell Ellie her friend had to go. I'll never forget you." Tom stood there, silent. Somehow, it felt like he'd lost something more than just a tenant. Days passed. Then weeks. He tried to move on, but he couldn't shake the worry. Was she safe? Had they found her? He never told Ellie the truth. Just said Lena had gone home. But fate has a way of bringing broken people full circle. 3 months later, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside was a photograph of a newborn baby girl wrapped in a red blanket. And a handwritten note: "Her name is Hope. Because you gave me mine back, I'm safe. And someday, when it's right, I'll come back to thank you properly." Tears filled Tom's eyes. He pinned the photo on the fridge beside Ellie's drawings. 2 years later, the knock came again. This time, when he opened the door, she stood there, with a little girl holding her hand. Lena looked different, stronger, calmer, no longer hiding. "I kept my promise," she said softly. Tom smiled. Unable to speak, Ellie ran forward, laughing, hugging both of them. In that moment, under the same roof that once echoed with pain and silence, something bloomed again. Hope, forgiveness, and love born not of wealth or blood, but of the rare kindness that can change a life. Because sometimes the richest hearts are found in the poorest homes. And sometimes the strangers we let in on a rainy night are the angels we never knew we needed.